Everybody ready? Okay. Good morning and welcome to the MetroPlan Orlando meeting this morning. Thanks for getting here early, those of you who got here on time. We'll clap when everyone else comes in late. If you wouldn't mind silencing any electronic devices, and then if you would also stand for the pledge led by Mayor Pat Bates. Join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Okay, if you would also please speak directly into the microphone. It's important for our recording purposes. And if there's anyone in the audience that has any type of hearing impairments, please let Lisa know so we can make a point of taking care of them. You'll have two opportunities in these meetings for public comment. Public comment on action items appearing on today's agenda are heard before we get to action items, and then public comments of a general nature are heard at the end of the meeting. Anyone attending today's meeting in person who wishes to make a public comment is asked to complete a speaker's card. These are available at the reception desk and on the table near the door. Cards should be given to Lisa Smith. Members of the public who are attending online and wish to make a comment should fill out an electronic speaker's card. We want this and all future meetings to be accessible to all. Participants may join by computer, tablet, or phone. If you need accommodations to participate in the future, please contact us at MetroPlan. I want to last week, Gary, that we went to the smart radar system, or week before, 2 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, time flies. 2 weeks ago, there was a function at the Osceola School District with a company called Safe Radar Systems. It's a Korean company that I met a couple years ago. Been going there to create relationships for Neo City. And effectively what they have done is create a radar that goes on a school bus that can detect if a child or anyone is in front of the bus, the side, underneath the bus. And then it has a special radar internally that can detect if a child gets left on a bus. They fall asleep on a seat or under the bus. It actually detects the heartbeat. So pretty cool. They adapted their sensor. They use it in other areas for defense and things of that sort. They came to Osceola because of Neo City. They'll be moving their headquarters there. But because of the tragedy that unfortunately happened in Orange County, we asked them about, could they adapt it to the school bus, and they were able to. So they did a proof of concept. We had a media event. Gary came out and was able to see that. And I know they've met with some staff here. Anyway, just really cool. When we talk about our Vision Zero, we don't always think about that piece of it. But that is certainly a piece of Vision Zero, and hoping now they're going through the state approval process, hoping that will be available. Be great if just the buses decided to add it on theirs, because I believe there's 3 different bus manufacturers, but we'll see what the future brings for that. So anyway, very cool stuff happening there. Next, we have our MetroPlan safety moment. Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everyone. A little change of pace for our safety moment this time around. For roughly the past year, I've been coming to you with details on how crashes happen, how we can prevent them. And today I'm going to talk about our planning efforts and what you're going to be seeing starting tomorrow and coming months. So we're heading toward the finish line on our regional Vision Zero plan. I want to just kind of give you a snapshot of what's the issue and where are we going. If I'm going to identify 2 key things about our safety problems, it's 41% of our fatalities are happening on only 2% of our roads. and 44% of our fatal crashes involve some sort of aberrant behavior on a driver's part, whether it's distraction, intoxication, speeding, or aggressive driving. So that really gives us some targets to really focus on in the coming years. And so how we begin to address that is more data and more planning and analytics. What we've planned so far is the big picture, and now we need to start whittling down to the corridors where we want to make things happen in the built environment, and how we improve our outreach to the public to get the messaging that hopefully will be effective with promoting behavior change. And in the meantime, we can do a lot of smaller projects that will address local safety problems that are more of a quick build type of approach. You will all, and all of your staff will be seeing the draft plan tomorrow. And so we'll be looking for feedback from everyone by August 1st, so that we can then bring the finalized plan to all of the committees in August and back to you for the September meeting for approval. But again, the plan doesn't stop there. It's just the beginning. There are opportunities for additional funding from the federal government. And so we're going to be putting together an application for that, for another SS4A grant to look at detailed corridors, improving our analytics, and focusing on public participation. And all of this then goes into updating and expanding upon the plan. The applications are due by August 29th. We would like to get our applications in earlier than that if possible. If you have, if your local staff have ideas that you want to contribute, because the more ideas we can bring into our application, the stronger it will be, and the more of a regional effort it will appear to be. So that concludes my safety moment for this morning. I'd be happy to.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate any questions for Mr. Wilson? No? Thank you.
Actually, couple of things I forgot. One is that I really need to give a shout out to all of our consultants. We have 5 consultant teams on this project. They've been not only bringing their expertise, but their innovation and their passion to this effort, and to our regional task force, which we're going to be meeting again later this month, and exploring how does that group move forward in a proactive and effective manner to serve this mission.
So Mike, when you talk about if anyone has any other ideas, expand a little more on that for the application.
Oh, just for, say, demonstration projects or for additional planning efforts. Are there particular corridors or topics that you think need additional attention in your particular jurisdiction that we could study?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hutman, you are up for Executive Director.
Good morning, Chairwoman Grieve and board members, and thank you all for starting your day a little bit earlier than normal and making it here. I'm impressed with the turnout, so thank you for coming. I continue to work with DOT Central Office on the apportionment plans, and I sound like a broken record, but we still have not received approval from the governor's office. The chief of staff of DOT, I understand, is continually asking the question of when we can expect that letter, and we still don't have an answer. So we have next month off. Perhaps by the time we get back together again in September, we'll have that letter. I hope so. Board alternates this morning. We are expecting Commissioner Scott here to represent Orange County in place of Commissioner Moore, who is not with us this morning. And I believe that Commissioner Janer and Commissioner Arrington are both joining us online this morning. Josh DeVries, who is the TAC chair and you generally hear from during the committee reports, is not able to be here this morning. So Slade Downs of the MetroPlan staff will be giving that brief report to the board. And then I was surprised by a special guest this morning, and I just want to acknowledge her. Barbara Gertman, who's a former Volusia County Council member and a transportation advocate, dropped in this morning by surprise. So welcome, Barbara. Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
You're going to be hearing about the TIP this morning, but I just want to let you know that our virtual public meeting for that was held on Tuesday, June 18th. The public comment period closed on Monday, and you'll be hearing more about that during the meeting. Your supplemental folders include two items. The first are comments from the TIP public meeting that was held on June 18th. So that's provided for your information. And there's also a copy of an email from DOT regarding a question about noise abatement and air quality during the department's review of the truck parking locations. The short answer from them is that the noise analysis indicated a noise barrier constructed for the truck parking would not be effective in mitigating the background noise that they found simply to exist on adjacent streets. And that they also state that no significant air quality impacts are anticipated. So that note is in your supplemental folders. If you'd like any further information on that, I can run it down for you.
And I know that was Commissioner Arrington's question from the
Yes.
last meeting. Can we make sure that he gets that emailed to him?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And that completes my announcements.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, Secretary Tyler.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, everyone. Great to see everybody again. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer and finding some time to spend, take some time away from what we do every day and spend time with friends and loved ones. I know I took an opportunity to take a vacation myself and came back rejuvenated and motivated to keep working on transportation in Central Florida. So it's great to be back. Thank you for giving me some meetings. So I'll try to be a little briefer than I normally do. But I do have a few things that I'd like to touch on this morning. First is an update on I-4, the Moving Florida Forward project, as well as an update on Sunrail, and then I'll finish off with safety. I always like to close out with a safety message. So right before the Independence Day holiday, Governor DeSantis came down to Central Florida and gave a press conference over in Polk County at our SunTrax facility. The focus of that press conference was to kind of showcase where we are with the Moving Florida Forward projects statewide, but specifically coming to Central Florida because the I-4, is the biggest project in that Moving Florida Forward initiative. And he shared a pretty significant announcement that day that FDOT has found a way to dramatically speed up congestion relief on that project. What we're going to be doing is adding an additional auxiliary lane from State Road 417 all the way to US 27 in Polk County in each direction. And we're going to have that auxiliary lane open by the end of 2025. That is significantly faster than what we intended to do with the completion of the overall project. So that's not the final project. That's basically the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add that additional auxiliary lane, and it's going to provide immediate relief to the people that are traveling I-4, no matter what time of day that they're doing it. And again, we believe that we will be able to have that facility open by the end of 2025, and then that lane will stay all the way through construction, and it will remain even when we're done. In addition to the 2 additional express lanes in each direction. So it is a pretty significant evolution in our design, in our delivery of that project. And we're very excited to begin construction as soon as we can. So we're very excited about that. One of the things that's allowing us to do that is a new tool in our toolbox for contract delivery. It's called Modified Phase Design Build. And Phase Design Build is an evolution of the design build process. The legislature 2 sessions ago gave us the authority to explore this tool. And we're going to bring home the results right here in Central Florida with that modified phase design build delivery method. It allows us to bring on several design build teams, work with them collaboratively, seek out innovation. And that's where these ideas have come from, that we can get a lane out there now. And that's what we're going to be doing. So we're excited about that. Next month, you'll be hearing from a gentleman by the name of Keith Slater. He is the program director for the I-4 project. And he will be coming next month to give you all more in-depth. No, month after that, sometime this summer. Keith will be here to talk to you all about more in depth of how we're gonna deliver this magical improvement in just a year and a half. So looking forward to that. Sunrail, we've been very, very busy on the Sunrail front this summer. On June the 17th, we officially phased out our legacy fare system that has been in existence since we opened 10 years ago, brought online our new ticket vending system. And it has been a very smooth transition. We have been very focused on ensuring that our customers have the smoothest transition possible. We've been very pleased with how the system is performing. Our mobile ticketing app would actually soft launched in February with about 4% of our ticket sales, going to mobile tickets by March. They are now up to 40%. 40% of all Sunrail tickets are on the mobile app. The great thing about the mobile app, you don't have to tap on or tap off. I still have a challenge remembering to tap off. You don't have to do that with the mobile app. You activate your ticket, you're good to go. You can buy tickets for multiple people. If you're traveling with a group, one person pulls out their phone, buys the tickets, activates them, whole group's ready to go. So that new system provides a lot of enhancements that we didn't have when we first started the system. So that's been a big challenge for us to implement. We're very pleased with the results. In addition to that, we're working on the DeLand station and the extension to DeLand will be the 17th station to the corridor. We began simulated service right before the Independence Day holiday. Simulated service is basically we're running the train to DeLand. We're running it there today. We've been running it for several weeks now with no passengers. It's what we call simulated service. We have to demonstrate to the FRA that we can do it safely, consistently, and reliably. And we passed that test. I can tell you that personally, I came from DeLand this morning on Sunrail. I needed to do a quality assurance ride in my role as Chief Executive Officer. So I took the liberty of picking this morning to do that. And as you saw, I just barely made it on time. But you can ride Sunrail to MetroPlan meetings. So we are in the final steps of being able to open that DeLand station. Be on the lookout. August. We're going to be opening in August. So a save the date will be coming soon once we can nail down a specific date. But we're there, folks. We are absolutely there, and very, very pleased with that. And then finally, I'll close with safety. A lot of great safety thoughts have already been expressed this morning. And one of the things that I'd like to share is that we also have data. We all have numbers. We all have statistics that we follow, and DOT does as well. And safety numbers tend to be lagging. You don't get your numbers until sometime in the future. But we've got some really solid numbers for 2023. All right, we're 6 months into 2024, yes. And I can talk about where we are in 2024, but we got solid numbers for 2023. And they're lower than they were in 2022. Fatalities are going down. They're going down statewide, around 3%. They're going down in Central Florida, around 10%. Now that is extremely good news, especially when you consider how many people have been moving to the state of Florida. 800 to 1,000 people are moving to the state of Florida every day. And as Mayor Demings reminded me, 800 to 1,000 of them are moving to Central Florida every week. So we're growing that fast and our numbers are going down. Our fatalities are going down. So that is very encouraging to me. And I believe that it is a direct reflection of everybody's efforts, all of the Vision Zero efforts, every community, every state agency, every local government agency, all of our nonprofits, all of the things, because we have so many things that we work on together. And I believe when you look at them in concert, they're all helping us get to this point, and in new initiatives that we're going to pursue, like radars on buses, they're all going to contribute to help keeping that number going lower. So I'm very motivated and pleased with this result. We cannot declare victory by any stretch because we're not at zero. But I believe that we're going in the right direction, and working together, we can keep that momentum going. So I'm looking forward to, 2024, they're down in 2024 over the first 6 months of 2023 as well. So I don't have a specific number. I just know they're down. We're still kind of massaging that, trying to refine that, but we're trending in the right direction. And I really appreciate every local community's efforts because pretty much everybody here is part of that Vision Zero initiative. Yes. We're all committed to improving safety in our communities, and it's starting to show a difference. So thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to give some perspectives this morning, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Secretary Tyler. Any particular questions for Secretary Tyler? Yes, sir. Mayor.
2 questions. That stretch on between, I'm going to say Orange and going into Polk seems like it's always congested, backed up. Yeah. So when you mentioned the auxiliary lane, can you expound a little bit on how the auxiliary lane will work?
Absolutely. That's a great question, because sometimes you hear auxiliary lane is like, well, is that like half a lane? Is that like something less than a lane? Is it like, you're gonna add it and then take it back? An auxiliary lane is a lane. It is another lane on I-4. It looks the same as any other lane on I-4. It's gonna be non-tolled. It's gonna be same width.
Okay.
It's going to be another lane on the inside or in the outside. We'll kind of switch back and forth, but it'll be just an extra lane, pure and simple. An extra lane that will be added, and that extra lane will stay through construction and beyond. So it's an extra lane on I-4.
Okay, all right. That's because I was gonna say that lane is needed all the time.
Yes,
But,
sir.
my second question is, did you pay this morning for the trip from, Orlando? Mr. Secretary, you were talking about that system, that paying toll system.
Pay when you're doing a safety check?
I will, that's a fair question, Mayor. That's a very fair question. And yes, I did.
Good answer.
But I did use the corporate account.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have, DOT has corporate accounts, and I tried for the first time. I mean, I have the app, but I had not yet used my new Sun card. Okay, and so I wanted to, that's part of my quality assurance check.
Okay.
Now the state of Florida is picking up the fare, for today, but yes, sir, I did pay, and the system is working very good.
Very good.
Thank you for that question.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
From the cheap seats over here. So, regarding your comment as well as yours, regarding the school buses.
Mhm.
I'd like to point out, we raise our kids. You exit the bus, the school bus, and you cross in front of the bus, and hopefully the traffic's gonna be stopped.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden they grow up, welcome to adulthood. By the way, you have to cross behind the bus and the traffic doesn't stop. I would think that would be an area we could address with, part of the Vision Zero, how many people get injured crossing streets, going to and from bus stops and things like that. Be it, and I realize why traffic doesn't stop for the links, for expediency for the other motorized traffic.
Mhm.
But if we're talking Vision Zero, I think at least it warrants inclusion in the conversation. So,
Sure, and I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the other things that at least Osceola County is installing is the cameras on the stop arms.
right.
They have an average of like 250 people, like a month, that blow through the stop arm.
Yeah.
So now it'll be an automatic ticket. So the camera will catch your license plate and you get a ticket in the mail. So hopefully that will help curb the,
Yeah. And hopefully the angry parents don't catch the driver too, but
Yeah.
that's another conversation. So,
absolutely. Thank you for bringing that
Thank
up.
you very
But
much,
yes,
ma'am.
that's all part of the Vision Zero as well. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Lisa, roll call.
Arrington,
Here.
Bates,
Here.
Blackwell,
Here.
Bonilla, Castano. Here. Constantine.
Here.
Gomez Cordero.
Here.
Delari,
Here.
Demmings,
Here.
Dyer,
Here.
Dowless,
Here.
Good,
Here.
Grieve,
Here.
Janer,
Here.
Moore, Nelson,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Ortiz, Uribe,
She's here.
Wilson,
Here.
Woodruff.
Here.
Madam Chair, that concludes the roll call, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Okay, agenda review. Mr. Hutman?
Yeah, no comments on the agenda. We can proceed.
Okay, next up, we have our committee reports. Mayor Dallas?
Thank you very much. Good morning. The Municipal Advisory Committee met on June 27th. MAC approved our June 6th meeting minutes. We then recommended approval on the following items: the fiscal year 25 to 29 TIP, the 2030 to 2040 PPL. MAC received two presentations. First, received a status update on the 2050 MetroPlan Transportation Plan, and we received the status update on the congestion management process. MAC meets on September 5th, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Okay, CAC, Dr. Stevens.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. The Community Advisory Committee met on June 26th and welcomed three new members, two appointed by Orange County and one appointed by the City of Orlando. Vice Chair Nelisa Council presided in my place. I was under the weather, cold that day, there you go. But thank you very much to her for filling in my stead. CAC members recommended approval of the draft TIP and PPL documents, both of which are in your agenda today. Preview of the Regional Vision Zero Action Plan was presented, and members look forward to seeing a completed draft soon. We also have presentations on the 2050 MTP and congestion management process. The next CAC meeting will be August 28th, and that concludes my report, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Technical Advisory Committee, we have Slade. Yes. Downs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Joshua DeVries, our chair, cannot be here today, but I'm here to report out. TAC met 2 weeks ago on June 28th. Like the other advisory committees, TAC met in person with a physical quorum present. Our action items, all of which were unanimously approved or recommended for your approval, included our May 31st meeting minutes, the TIP, and the PPL, which are both on the agenda later today. Like other advisory committees, we received presentations on the 2050 MTP status update, and there was one TAC-only presentation, which was an update on the congestion management process, the CMP. There was no public comment made nor submitted, and our next meeting is August 23rd at 10 a.m. Concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Not been asking if there's any questions of the committee. We have any questions of the committee? Okay.
Thank you.
TISMO, Mr. Brian Sanders.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. TISMO Advisory Committee met on June 28th, and the following action items were approved, which included the meeting minutes for May 31st TISMO meeting, the adoption of the TIP for 2025 to 2029, the PPL for 2030 to 2040. We also had two presentations, which included the congestion management process, which you will hear later in this meeting, and also a meeting from District 1 of FDOT on traffic signals for speed management on arterial roadways. The next TISMO meeting will be August 23rd at 8:30. This concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Seeing, hearing none. Very good. Okay. Lisa, do we have any public comments on action items?
I have not received any requests.
Okay, very good. Nothing online.
No hands raised online, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next, we move on to the consent agenda, which are the minutes and the approval financial report. Do I have a motion?
Second, Uribe.
I have a motion by Mr. Good, second by Commissioner Uribe. Any further discussion? Seeing, hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next up, our big reason we're here. And thank you again for coming so early today. I'm not a morning person. As long as I'm chair, we're not keeping these at 8. Jason.
Morning, Madam Chair and board members. This morning I'll be presenting the fiscal year 2025 to 2029 TIP draft for adoption. You'll find some additional information located in tab 2 of your agenda packets, as well in the folders at your desks. The purpose of the TIP is to identify all federal and state funded transportation projects for the next 5 years. This includes locally funded and Central Florida Expressway projects for informational purposes. And the TIP is updated on an annual basis and is consistent with the adopted prioritized project list, which was last adopted in July of 2023. Projects in the tip are categorized into 11 sections, which are displayed on the screen. These 11 sections remain unchanged from the last time I presented in front of you. And within the tip, we have 513 projects within the 11 sections of the tip. Over the next 5 years, we have a total of 280 federal, state, and turnpike funded projects, with approximately $5.4 billion in funding. This figure does not include projects provided by the Central Florida Expressway Authority, which is investing $4.1 billion into their roadways in our region. This also does not include the $1 billion in locally funded projects submitted by our county and municipal agencies for informational purposes. And the pie chart on the screen breaks the funding down based on the categories of the tip. Based on our region's significant population size, we receive additional federal and federal funds, which we can use for off-system state highway system projects. And within the tip, we have a total of 59 MetroPlan Orlando funded projects with approximately $185 million in funding. And the table breaks this down by category. So we have complete streets, transportation systems management and operations, also known as TSMO, bicycle and pedestrian, and transit. Since the last time I presented in front of you, we have made a few minor edits to the tip. At the request of FDOT, we have added the dates of our next federal certification to page 14. And we have also added the associated MTP page numbers for all projects. At the request of City of Orlando, the length of the Corinne Drive project has been updated on page 40. At the request of Osceola County, the length of the Old Lake Wilson Road project has been updated on page 174. At the request of Osceola County, the future costs of Jones Road project have been updated on page 175. And at the request of Osceola County, the historic costs of Lake Toho Pond Trail project have been updated on page 180. And those last three projects were all submitted as locally funded projects. In addition, we have improved line work on the TIP online viewer for better visualization. As Gary previously mentioned, on June 18th, 2024, we hosted our TIP public meeting on Zoom from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This year, we changed a few things up. We had Keith Slater with the FDOT Corridors Program present on I-4 and moving Florida forward. We also had Amy Beckman with FDOT present on the state highway system, and Miles O'Keefe with Links present the transit projects. Public meeting was followed by a very engaging Q&A session with topics including transit needs in the region, safe routes to school, use of roundabouts, pedestrian safety concerns, and project-specific questions. Also, we have received several positive comments from both the public as well as from our local agency partners on the TIP online viewer. For those that missed it, a recording of the meeting is located on our YouTube channel, and we would like to thank all of our presenters as well as our partner panelists for their participation in the public meeting. As I mentioned earlier, you have some additional information located in tab 2 of your agendas, as well as in the packets, the folders in front of you. With that being said, unless there are any questions, we are asking for your vote of approval of the fiscal year 2025 to 2029 TIP. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Delari.
Make motion to approve the FY 24-25 and FY 29-30 Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP, as presented here today.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second by Commissioner Constantine, I believe that was. Any discussion, questions? Seeing, hearing none, it's a roll call. After this.
Arrington,
Yay.
Bates,
Yes.
Castano. Yes. Constantine,
Yes.
Gomez Cordero.
Yes.
Delari,
Yes.
Demmings,
Yes.
Dyer,
Yes.
Dallas, Good,
Here.
Grieve,
Yes.
Yes.
Janer,
I was not honored you.
Janer,
Yes.
Moore, Nelson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yeah.
Uribe, Wilson,
Yes, yes.
Woodruff.
Yes.
Madam Chair, motion carried unanimously.
And we're still good with our quorum.
Yes, we. still
Okay,
vote.
thank you so much.
Commissioner Cordero here.
Okay. See why we can't have meetings at 8 in the morning? Item B, Mr. Slade Downs. Thank you guys for that.
Thank you. Good morning again. I'll be walking you through the annual prioritized project list update. The PDF of the full document is loaded into the screens in front of you for your reference. It's also included in tab 3 of the agenda packets. So at our last meeting, I gave you a preview of the document, and now the final version is ready for adoption. So I won't spend too much time on background. I know I kind of went over that last time. I don't want to repeat too much at this early hour, but long and short of it is the PPL serves as kind of an on-deck circle. We take projects from the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, and when those are ready to look for funding, we move them into the PPL. Once they've received funding, they move into the TIP, which Jason just got done telling you about. So we requested feedback from you as well as all of the advisory committees and all of your staffs in the last committee meeting cycle. Thank you again to everyone who participated and weighed in. We were able to incorporate some of the changes, including some project phasing changes to the complete streets list to match the needs of a few of our municipal partners. Some administrative adjustments were also made to the off-system construction assistance list to more accurately show project limits and figures, and some administrative adjustments were made to the regional transit projects list. Because need is prioritized in the MTP, it's important to note that the actual rankings of the projects themselves did not change as a result of the feedback. And so, short and sweet today, I'll be requesting that you please approve the 2030 to 2040 prioritized project list as presented. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner.
move to
Law.
approve the 2030, 2040 prioritized list as presented here today.
I have a motion by Commissioner Delory.
A second.
I have a second by Commissioner Uribe. Is there any questions or discussion? Okay, seeing, hearing none, this is just a regular vote, correct? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have informational items in your packet. Action item.
Motion for approval on the action items.
Second.
Gomez.
I have a motion by Commissioner Uribe, second by Commissioner Delory. All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Other business and presentations. We have congestion management process status update. Ms. Laura.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, board members. My presentation today is going to be on the congestion management process and the work the staff has been doing to do our 2050 update. Wanted to start off today just by defining what it is that we mean when we talk about congestion management. Sort of simply put, it's just the application of strategies to make sure that we are optimizing our performance and reliability on our transportation system, with some nuance being that when we talk about congestion, there are generally two types of congestion that we consider. The first being recurring congestion. That's that congestion you expect to see generally in the same places at about the same time on the system every day or every weekday. Recurring congestion is generally caused by high traffic volumes on our roadways that are at or over capacity. The other type of congestion that we think about is that non-recurring congestion, unexpected, atypical, generally caused by things like special events, maybe something at the Amway Center or crashes on the system. And when we think about our congestion management process, or the CMP, that's really just a systematic means of planning for congestion that is objectives-based and performance-driven, And it's really a way for us to make sure that the investments and the choices that we're making about the investments we make related to congestion are really focused on the outcomes that we would like to see. I will note that many of the strategies that are generally included in the CMP tend to be those TISMO-related sort of technology-based strategies. So the idea of congestion management was first introduced in legislation in 1991, where there was a requirement for a congestion management system. And then in 2005, with the Safety Lou legislation, the CMP, or congestion management process, replaced the congestion management system, with the main difference being that a congestion management system is seen as a snapshot, sort of point in time look at how the system is performing, whereas a congestion management process is something that is updated over time. It's a living document that can be updated to incorporate changing goals or objectives for a community or changing concerns surrounding congestion. So why do we develop a CMP? Well, any MPO that has 200,000 or more people in its planning area is required to develop a congestion management process. However, the federal guidance is not prescriptive about either the approach for developing your CMP or how often it needs to be updated. Here at MetroPlan Orlando, we update our CMP generally every 5 years at about the same cycle as our MTP. That allows us to make sure that those goals and objectives that we define for our long-range planning are also informing our approach to congestion management. And then it also allows for the strategies that are recommended as a part of the CMP to be considered for inclusion in our long-range MTP. There is no requirement that those strategies be included in the MTP, but this timing does provide for us to be able to consider that in a pretty seamless manner. So I mentioned that there's no prescripted way for how we approach our congestion management process. However, in 2015, FHWA did provide some guidance that we do tend to follow. And so our process generally looks like this. We first think about what our goals and objectives are around congestion management for our planning area. Then we define what that study area is going to be. For MetroPlan Orlando, it's going to be our 3-county planning area. We identify what metrics we're going to be tracking and what our targets are over the tracking period. Then we identify what strategies we think are going to help us reach those targets, and we develop some sort of monitoring and evaluation plan. So with that, talking about what the CMP is and why it is that we do it, just wanted to briefly remind you all of what we included in our 2045 CMP update that we approved about 5 years ago. Similarly to what we're doing this time, we thought that the MTP goals, those long-range goals that were part of the 2045 MTP, were really good, and that those should be the guiding principles for how we developed our congestion management process. And so we just carried those same goals right over into the CMP. From there, we identified a number of performance metrics. This is just a sampling of what's included in the 2045 CMP. And I just wanted to point out that we identified some metrics in each of the 5 goal areas, and that we looked at metrics that both were things that are going to be impacted by congestion, things like delay on the system or what our air quality is looking like, and also things that impact congestion, things like how many crashes we're seeing on our roadways, how long it's taking for us to clear incidents. And then for the strategies that were included in the 2045 CMP, we had sort of 3 broad buckets. The first were strategies that improve safety for all users, with the idea being that those strategies may impact that non-recurring congestion that I talked about earlier. The other 2 buckets were strategies that optimize our system capacity, and then those that shift our single occupant vehicle trips to other types of travel. So over the last several months, we've been going through, taking a look at all of those performance measures that I mentioned earlier, seeing how the system has been performing. And what we're doing as a part of this update is looking at everything, really, our goals and objectives, our performance measures, and our strategies to think about which ones we want to carry forward into the 2050 CMP, which ones may be removed because maybe they're not serving us well, and if there are any new ideas that we want to incorporate into this new CMP. Another major part of this update is we're developing a CMP scorecard, something that can be updated approximately 4 times a year, with some key metrics that we think are going to provide a real good snapshot of how the system is performing and any key takeaways that we want to share with you. And so those will be included in board and committee packets about 4 times a year once that's approved. So where we are now is on Monday, we actually have an internal staff workshop to talk through some preliminary recommendations for what we think should be included in the CMP this time. We will take that input from staff, incorporate it into a presentation I'm putting together for our next MTP technical workshop on August 8th. We'll be talking with your staff and any others that participate in that workshop about their input on the recommended updates. And then I expect to be back in the fall to provide you with an update on what we're recommending to include in the 2050 CMP. And with that, I'm happy to answer questions that you may have.
Hey, any questions? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate the information, presentation. Okay, next we have public comment of a general nature. Thank you. We have any cards?
Yes, we have received a request from Ms. Joanne Canellis.
Ms. Canales? Hey. Good morning. Yes.
Hi, I'm Joanne Canellis. My address is 324 Claremont Avenue, Lake Mary, Florida, 32746. Yes, we do need mass transits right away too, for all of Florida, everywhere. And then we need the bus over at the Claremont, Florida, since it's really hard for me to go without a bus like that, because my sister Robin helped me to go up there. And then when I came back by myself, I had to pay so much money with my insurance money like that. All my money just right out of my card. Not fun. So I mean, you better hurry up, get that in before I start swimming this month. Please. Thank you. And we need a 24-hour bus and train service, including holidays, weekends, and nighttime, every 15 minutes. And we need the bus over at the Country Club Road. That bus up at least over at the Estella Road. We need that too. One northbound and one southbound, everywhere. And we need the bus back over at Oviedo Boulevard in Oviedo, Florida, at the Big Kahuna Pool and stuff like that. And we need the bus over also at the Little Kahuna Pool as well, in case we go there too, so I don't have to walk so much. Please.
Thank you so much.
And we need a bus stop over at Lake Mary Prep School too, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, next we have board member comments. Any board members wishing to make any comments? Okay. Next meeting, we do not have a meeting in August. We will meet again September 11th. And if there's nothing further, we're adjourned.